Hello everyone, welcome to Zen Study. And today with us we have Sonnet Jose. So Sonnet Jose has gotten rank 54 in the UPSC Civil Services examination of 2024. This was her second attempt. In her first attempt, she has reached up to the interview stage, but she could not make it to the list. And in her second attempt, she came out with flying colors with a rank 54. Welcome, Sonnet. Welcome. Hi, Sonnet. Thank you so much for joining this session on how your life has changed basically after the selection. First of all, congratulations for clearing the UPSC Civil Services examination of 2024. And from the entire team of Zen Study, we wish you all the very best for your upcoming journey. This is definitely not the end. Now the main journey starts. First of all, coming to you, how is it feeling now? What do you feel now after the selection, after seeing your name in that rank list?
Ma'am, now I feel so happy because the stretch time is over for a short time because we are so happy. We are everybody celebrate us, and we have that privilege of being going for everyone everywhere, and everybody celebrate us for our victory. But nowadays we are a little bit busier because we have to start the Labasana shopping and we have to join by next month, August 20th. So we are busy in
Okay.
that kind of things. We have to buy since in Kerala we are in a relatively hotter climate. So to acquaint with the cold climate of Mussoorie, we have to buy a lot of clothes, lot of things to sustain this. So we are busy in that thing.
Yes. Like you're actually going to come from the extreme south to almost extreme north.
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Yes, so definitely like buy as many clothes as you can and as many warm clothes as possible because Missouri is definitely a very beautiful place and Lavasna itself is it's a very beautiful. The entire campus is so beautiful. We hope that you'll be sending us more pictures from there after you
Yes.
join.
Yes, ma'am,
Like after
definitely.
you enter the that institute. Okay, so Sonnet, coming to the OG, coming to the mainstream questions, because yes, this session has basically been planned for the aspirants, the upcoming IAS officers of the future. Coming to your preparation and your strategy, uh, what was your optional and how did you deal with that optional?
My optional subject is geography, and in both my years, this is my second attempt. In my very first attempt, I cleared the mains and go for the interview. So I definitely believe that geography helped me to clear that mains in the very first attempt. And this year also, I got 79 marks for geography, which is the second top when it comes to geography optional. So I think this helped me to clear the exam. And when it comes to the strategy, I think generally I did the basic foundation course from the institute. Then value add to that by I think we can took it on a paper basis so that my approach for both the papers before for paper one as well as paper two. So I think we can discuss the strategy on a paper wise.
Yes, sure. Before coming to the mains optional strategy, can we like know how did you decide that this is the optional that you should be taking, and why should one opt for geography optional?
Ma'am, I studied in Delhi University, and while I was there, I decided anthropology as my optional. But once I came back to Kerala, I realized that geography is something that excited me more than anthropology. So I shifted from geography. Along with that, for those who are opting for optionals, I generally tell them just prioritize their interest because in GS subjects everybody studies that, but for optional we have to invest our time and all. So interest is the first thing that we have to consider while opting an optional. Then when it comes to geography specifically, one thing is the prelims advantage that geography is giving us. Because while analyzing the question papers, we can see there are a lot of mapping questions that UPSC asks in prelims itself. But when it comes to world geography, also there are rivers, mountains, as well as countries which covering the other countries from a international perspective. So the prelims advantage is something that geography students experience or while prelims exam. Along with that, there is a huge overlap in mains itself, especially optional paper two, which is closely linked to the GS paper. For the GS one, we have the geography assessing paper, GS1 paper. For the paper two, we are having the polity and governance, which can be used in the regional planning portion of paper two in optional paper. Then in the IR, we have political geography to study. In when it comes to paper three, that the GS3 paper, we are having economic geography there. We have space to study. So I think when it comes to the mains, there is a huge overlap between the GS papers as well as the optional paper two of geography. So that mains advantage is something that geography students can enjoy. Along with that, for anybody coming from, whether they are coming from the humanities background or from the science background, they can approach geography because it's a semi-science, semi-humanity subject. So I definitely suggest people to take geography. But one thing is that you must have that interest because when we analyze the syllabus of geography, we can see that it is very vast and wide. So for somebody who is very interested, they can easily study that. Otherwise, the huge syllabus to cover that becomes a little bit a challenge for them. Otherwise, geography is a great subject.
So, Sonnet, coming to the standard book list for geography optional, what is the standard book list that you followed and you will recommend to the other aspirants?
Ma'am, from a preparation point of view, I mostly stick to my coaching class notes because when we analyze the question papers, we can see that most of the questions are becoming more dynamic and more current affairs oriented. So, sticking only to this standard books that might affect our preparation. Along with that, studying the standard book from cover to cover, that is also a challenge because it's so bulky. So basically, I refer to my class notes as the primary source. Along with that, I refer to the standard books to get the diagrams. For geography, we need more diagrams, and in the standard books, they are given in a detailed fashion. So for generally, when it comes to Indian geography, I refer fuller book for the diagram. For paper one, we have two parts. For the physical geography part, which includes the geomorphology, biogeography, oceanography, there are separate books by Savindra Singh for each module. So I refer that book for the diagram. When it comes to the human geography, I majorly depended on Majid Hussein's models and theories for the paper two. Otherwise, I used ChatGPT a lot for getting examples, getting case studies, and try to authenticate this with the sources. They give us the examples. It's our duty to authenticate whether that case study is original. We can take facts from that. That's my book list because I limited the book list. Otherwise, it becomes so difficult for us to study, manage things, class notes as well as standard books.
Yes, yes. Mainly in UPSC, it's the FOMO of content. There's so much content in the market, and students are always suffering from which content to basically follow. So, keeping your sources limited is the only key to success, I feel,
Yes, ma'am.
and
Yes, ma'am.
rightly explained. So, is there any overlap between the GS syllabus and the geography optional syllabus? And how much useful will geography optional be for your GS preparation as well?
Ma'am, there is a lot of overlap between GS syllabus and geography optional syllabus, especially when it comes to geography optional paper two, which is primarily deals with the Indian geography. Most around, I think around 80% of syllabus are overlapping for both the subjects. As I said, for the paper one, in paper one, we have geography, which is directly from our optional subject. From in the paper two, we have polity and governance. And for geography optional students, they are having the political aspect as well as regional planning as a module, separate module. When it comes to the paper three, we have the economic planning, space technology, science and agriculture, all this in paper two of optional. So there is around, I think, 80 to 85 percentage overlap between both the syllabus. And there are some certain specific topics in the optional paper two, like the vegetation or the soil geography, with certain classifications for. So while studying that, I refer to these specific topics, studied specific topics for paper two for optional. Otherwise, I integrated my GS preparation with the paper two preparation. So that become more easier for me. I generally focused more on the paper one content while studying geography.
Okay, so like mainly, what is your idea of developing a suitable note? Like, do you follow mind maps or flow charts, or do you go for map based learning? Like, what is your method basically that you have followed in your preparation?
Ma'am, for since the geography itself is a vast subject, I used to make a separate books for diagrams as well as one book for the short notes. Short note means while there are a lot of theories that we have to study. So in a one pager, I used to write the theories like who is the proponent of this theory, what are the main postulate, what are the limitations, like the case studies and examples. So every single pager note for each theory so that I can easily revise this between the gap between the GS as well as optional exams during the main weeks. Along with that, I have separate books for the diagrams. Especially, I refer the standard books for diagrams, and I collected these diagrams in the book. So before entering into the exam hall, we can just revise those diagrams so that it is becoming very easier for us to replicate in the actual exam. So for that, I have theory notes, one pager notes for theory, as well as a separate book for diagrams, so that the vast syllabus can be shortened down, cut down to few pages.
Okay, so yeah, like you have followed a balanced approach of either some things you have made in detail, like the theories and all that you said, and others you made one pagers, short notes, and mind maps.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
that is the kind of approach students should be following. So you mentioned the use of Chat GPT while you were preparing. So how useful is this Chat GPT and the integration of AI when when we talk about UPSC preparation?
Ma'am, from my personal experience, it was very helpful for me to get examples as well as case studies, and I used ChatGPT on a regular fashion. I also used to predict questions after analyzing. I gave the prompt like after analyzing the previous year questions from 2022 to 2023. 2020 to 2023, give me relevant topics, especially in subjects like science and tech, where they ask dynamic questions. So I used to predict questions so that I can analyze whether I left out any important topic. Then I used to get examples. But while collecting this example, I used to authenticate it from the Google itself so that we can look whether the examples are relevant or we can trust the examples. Otherwise, I think for giving the crisp answers, it is very helpful. The one thing is that we have to look, authenticate whether check the authenticity of the answer, whether we can rely on the case studies or not. Otherwise, it's very helpful for us.
This was something very unique that you shared, that you use the Chat GPT prompt for generating trends and generating the upcoming questions. So this is something our students can definitely take back from the session. That how they can integrate AI in their lives and make sure that they can always enhance their productivity when it comes to using AI. Okay, because we have always heard that the UPSC preparation requires 10 to 12 hours of learning per day, 10 to 12 hours of reading per day. Do you go by that philosophy? And what was your routine? Like, if you can just share a day in your life while you were an aspirant.
Ma'am, while preparation, I was a consistent student. I usually spend a lot of time studying, but I prioritize quality over the quantity because I was also a person who gave equal importance to sleep. When you used to ask any of my friends, I spend equal time for studying as well as for sleeping because sleeping is something that is very important for me. So that helped me to study in a qualitative fashion because I believe that rather than studying 15 hours a day without proper sleep and rest, it is better to study 10 hours a day so that you can be more productive. So I have micro targets in every day, like reading the newspapers, attending the GS class, attending the optional class, write one or two answers for geography optional, write one answer for mains, GS mains. do any 5 or 10 previous year questions for prelims so that I cover all the aspects. Like for the prelims, I did the questions. For mains, I wrote the answers. For the interview, for the from the interview perspective, I read the newspaper. So I was sure that I had this thing, and I am developing the skills every day for my actual test of exam. Then, when you ask me the day in my life, I think that might go viral because I used to be a morning bird, so I used to wake up at 4:30 in the morning. But at the same time, I used to sleep earlier. That's the thing. But when people hear that, oh, you have to wake up at 4:30, they might misinterpret that I used to study 17 to 18 hours a day. That was not the thing. I wake up at 4:30 till 6. I used to revise things like revise things for the mains or the class notes. From 6 to 7, I used to read the newspaper. Usually, in the first attempt, I used to read Hindu newspaper. In the second attempt, when it comes to the second attempt, I graduated it into the Indian Express newspaper. From 7 to 8:30, I had my optional classes, geography optional classes. From 9 to 1:30, I had the GS classes. So by 1:45 or 2, I reached the hostel. Then I used to have the lunch and take a nap. That's not a good habit after eating so much, immediately taking a nap. That results in weight gain, and I suffered a lot from weight gain. But as a person who wake up at 4:30 and continuously sat for the classes, I needed that break. So from 2:30 to 4, I used to sleep. I take adequate rest. So then after that, after waking up at 4, I used to revise things like the GS classes, optional classes, and by 7 or 7:30, I used to call my mother or father, my family members. And after that, by 8:30, I started writing answers for mains as well, mains for GS as well as optional. And by 10, I slept. I reached bed and slept. So when comparing this, I had 7 to 8 hours of sleep every day, and I spent a lot of time studying. And this was not a regular day in my life because sometimes, some days we can't able to fully utilize our time. Maybe any physical issues, that kind of issues might come. But I had this micro plan, so I most of the days I try to cover up. If today I can't study or read the newspaper, on the next day I make sure that I first read the newspaper first, so that I don't miss anything.
So, would you like to dedicate this success to any of your mentor? And did you have any personal mentor as such? And would you say, like, how important do you think is the role of a mentor in a UPSC aspirant's life?
Ma'am, I am grateful for a lot of people for my UPSC journey as well. And if you ask me one mentor, I have two mentors. One mentor is Shahat sir in my institute, who had with me and throughout my PCM batch. And as a nascent student, I came to him, and he helped me to structure my answers and made me a UPSC aspirant. The second person is Nitin sir, because I'm very thankful because he was the reason I restarted my second attempt, because the fault that I had in the first attempt, that was very heartening, because we only had 40 days for the next prelim. So we had to restart the journey, and it was very difficult for me to restart. But at that time, he called me and he gave me the confidence as well as the motivation to restart. And each and every step, even in the means as well as the interview, each day he had contacted me and he gave me that trust that helped me to clear this. So I dedicated my success to these two mentors.
So, yes, we both agree in this point here that we really need some guide, a philosopher, and a friend who's there with us during this difficult journey. Because UPSC itself, entire preparation of UPSC is very overwhelming, and there
Yes,
are
ma'am.
there are no appraisers, or there is no one to validate us. Because it's not like any semester exam, or it's not like any curriculum that we are following. So there has to be someone who is able to guide us, and who's able to give us that sense that there is someone behind us and we can move ahead, because there will be someone who will be
Yes, ma'am.
there to hold our back when we fall down.
Yes, ma'am, because it's not a short sprint or 100 meters, it's a long marathon. So we need that constant validation throughout the year because it takes 1 hour for preparation and 1 hour to 1 year to complete the entire journey as a
Hmm.
test. So we are in the constant tension and anxiety, and we need the constant support from somebody.
Okay, it was absolutely wonderful talking to you, Sonnet. Very humbly and very authentically, you have explained the entire your preparation and how you dealt with all the shortcomings and all the hardships. You are accepting that your life was very easy while you were preparing, but we all know that it's absolutely not easy. When you make it to the rank list, you do go through a lot of pain and pressures. So, one last message that you would like to leave to our aspirants.
Okay, so I usually gave that thought like if you want to shine like a sun, you will have to burn like a sun because after the selection or you got into the service, you become stars. But to reach that stage, you have to go through a lot of burning. And through that stage, the consistency is the key. You have to be consistent because there are days that you might not feel good or you don't want to prepare or you don't want to sit for in front of your book, but think that after so many days, that will help you to reach a stage where you have lot of privilege and you have can have lot of people around and being in a happy environment. So do your work in a consistent manner that help you to be in a position that you wish.
So, yes, consistency is the key. Study, and thank you for bringing out your time and sharing all the words of wisdom with us. We wish you all the best, and hopefully, you have a very beautiful and a wonderful journey in Labasna.